Interested in buying a new knife or EDC gear? Click the first link in the description down below. Thanks! What is going on YouTube? But Great Blades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Maxace Balance. This is the second edition that they did, the second run of this. Let's start with a measurement on the overall size here. Oops. So the overall length of this is going to be about 8.5 inches with a 3.75 inch blade and about 3.6 inches of cutting edge. So it's definitely a big knife, definitely bigger than I would probably typically want to carry because I have small little baby hands, but I do actually really enjoy this. Measurements on the blade stock thickness here. So blade stock thickness on the Maxace Balance, looking at about 70 thousandths. Is that right? Yeah, about 70 thousandths. Okay, interesting. Are we sure? That's what it says. Alright, so yeah, pretty thin. Sorry, I went back. That didn't seem right to me. I think my calipers were messing up. I'm going to try that one more time. I took the batteries out and re-zeroed it and everything like that. Because that doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, 150 thousandths. Okay, see, that seems more reasonable. Because I was comparing it to the a hinderer that I had nearby, and those are about 165,000, something like that, and it was still saying it was only like 70 thousandths. So I'm not sure how long that's been messing up for, but I may have to go back a couple videos and maybe just edit the size there, because that doesn't seem right. But anyways, so more like 150 thousandths. Okay, see that? Yeah, that seems better to me. Okay, so 150 thousandths on the blade stock thickness there. Do a size comparison with the QSP Penguin, and then also the 80-20.5. This one with original goat scales on it. Link them down below. Adjust it a little bit here. Right. So we are at a bit of an angle, but as you can see, it is bigger than both, substantially so compared to the QSP Penguin, and then it is bigger still than even the 80-20.5, which I would still consider a full-size knife. So definitely a big boy in terms of knife. I mean, it's almost 9 inches overall, so definitely big knife. What do we got here? So it is a titanium frame lock. So titanium on both sides here. This one in particular, so just wipe that off a little bit, has a zirconium inlay on it, which is making my camera freak out a little bit, but it has a zirconium inlay on this one. They did come in many variations. Plain titanium, no inlay is the cheapest option, and then they had, you know, the zirconium, they had a mokume, they had a mokutai or zircotai, I'm not sure which one. And then they did also on their website for a little bit of time have a real crazy one. I'll have to see if I can find an image of that one, but it was like Damascus, I think it was a mokume inlay and a mokutai or zircotai frame, I want to say, unless I'm mixing it up with another knife. But they did have a real crazy version if you wanted to spend, you know, $700 or something like that on this knife. But this one is kind of right in the middle there. So it is I'd probably call this a drop point blade in terms of blade shape. Drop point. It is M390, if we can zoom in here just a second. M390 there. Maxace usually does pretty good on heat treating their stuff, so probably 60, 62, you know, somewhere in that range, probably closer to 61, 62, but no problems there. The inlay is like flawless. I mean, it is just raised just a little bit above the titanium in some spots, but I mean, it is practically seamless. I mean, that is flawless execution in my opinion. Amazing, as they usually tend to do. It does have a lanyard hole, I guess, if you want that. It's out of the way of the pocket clip, so I'm not really super concerned with it being there or not being there, but if you are a lanyard person, it's there for you. Titanium on the clip as well. A milled sort of 3D machined clip. It's not just a stamp clip. Yeah, this knife is pretty cool. Flat grind on the blade here as well. Sorry, forgot to mention it's a flat grind. But even so, it does still slice really, really well, just because of the sort of blade geometry here. Sort of this pearlescent finish on the blade here. Probably some sort of media blast, zirconium, or silicon, something like that. So it's a little bit lighter than a stone wash, but it's a nice even finish. It'll probably show scratches a little easier than a stone wash, but it'll hide them a little bit better than something like a satin. So, you know, kind of somewhere in the middle there. But I think it just looks nice. It's also really smooth, which will just, I mean, marginally so probably, but it'll help a little bit with the friction when you're cutting. It won't be as grippy, so it won't catch on the blade. It is a combination flipper and hole opener here. You can use a reverse flick or you can forward flick it. I tend to use the reverse flick more often than the flipper or the forward flick, but you can do all three. The detent's pretty good. It's a little light ame, in my opinion, but it's not terrible or anything like that. It's good enough. But maybe a little heavier for my preferences anyways. Maybe not for everyone's here, but I think it's pretty solid still. I mean, action is crazy. It is running on bearings, and I was reading the Blade HQ page here just a little bit ago before filming the video. I keep notes, in case anyone was ever wondering. I keep notes up here on the screen in front of me, just in case I do forget anything, and also I'm not going to remember everything. But I was reading on the Blade HQ page here, which I'll probably include like a little side picture here of, but I was reading on the Blade HQ page. It said something about a double bearing. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that. I couldn't find it anywhere else, unfortunately, so I'm not exactly sure what they mean. I haven't disassembled the knife. I haven't really needed to, but I'm not really 100% sure what they mean by that. But regardless of that, it does run on bearings, and I think at this point most companies have gotten the hang of that. You know, it's not really an issue anymore. I know previously, you know, years ago, it definitely wasn't always the case with pocket knives and bearings, but yeah, this thing is, I mean, no problem, no double clutch, nothing, you know, it just swings down. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Sorry, I forgot to do the weight. I'm just gonna do it here. I don't think I really need to insert it back into the front of the video. I'll just do it now. This one is gonna be a little bit heavier, just because it is the zirconium one, and zirconium's a little bit heavier, or denser, I should say. So this one's 7 ounces. So definitely not a light knife, and again, probably heavier than I would typically want to carry, but I don't know. It didn't feel that bad in the pocket, to be honest. I mean, if you're carrying it in jeans, I think you should be okay, or some sort of work pant. I probably wouldn't carry this in sweatpants or basketball shorts, just because that will definitely weigh your pockets down. But I think otherwise it's fine. The clip is a little bit on the tight side, I would say, but honestly, I never really had an issue with it. I honestly thought it was pretty good in terms of in and out of the pocket. But also, it really doesn't ever bother me if I need to use two hands to put the knife inside my pocket. As long as I can take it out one-handed, that's really more what I care about. But putting it back in with two hands, it's a little bit less important to me. But I really didn't have an issue with this one that I can recall anyways. Yeah, so this one, the zirconium one in particular, it was $208 directly from Maxace. If you guys don't know, Maxace makes their knives in China, if that bothers you, but that is why the price is honestly so good. And I know they did they did the Balance once before, a couple years ago now, 3-4 years ago now, 2021 or 2022, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure what, if anything, really changed on the knife here, size, weight, internals or something like that. I'm not exactly sure if anything did change between the original one and this one, but I was looking, I did see that the prices were better, so I'm not sure what changed then, but the prices were better, so I'll take it, Which is just, I think, always good. Most of the time we see knives going up in price for the same model year after year, not down in this case, because I think so I did say the price kind of varies, but it was $188 to like $278, like $280 for the whether it was Mokutai or Zircotai, I can't recall. Chimascus, whatever. They're all more or less kind of the same thing, except Zircotai. But they were all, kind of in that price range. But I think the Balance 1, I think it was like $250, $270 for just the titanium one. But they also had like a budget one, different blade steel, and I probably G10 for like $80 or $90. I want to say, but this is the newer one, the Balance 2, the 10th anniversary edition, I think they called it. I think probably because it's the 10th anniversary of Maxace would be my guess, and not of this particular model, but maybe I'm wrong. Someone can correct me down below if that's not right. But the reason I also bring up the price is that I got this secondhand, so I did not pay retail price. I paid about a little over, but about half of that price. I paid $120, which I think is a fantastic price to get this at. I mean, even the $200 price tag for this one in particular wasn't exactly throwing me off. I would have paid that had I wanted to buy it at the time and had the funds to do so at the moment, but or I wasn't looking at other knives or whatever the case might have been. But for $120, this definitely is a really, really good knife. But like I said, that's secondary price. And I did get this from MC. He does sales on his Patreon every now and then for his patrons. And it was between this and the Maxace Halictus, also with the zirconium inlay, funnily enough, that I was kind of tossing up between. And I was actually at work when the sale happened, and I was like, okay, what can I do about this? Because more than likely I'm not going to, be on my lunch or anything like that when it drops. he always announces beforehand what time it'll, he'll do the sale. But he's also in a different time zone than me. But I literally just, I think many other people here have probably done the same thing for other knife drops, etc. But I literally just went to the bathroom and bought it in there. So yeah, and I was the first one to get it, luckily, because he just says, all right, here it is, this is the price. First person to comment, the knife that they want, you can only pick one. First person who comments that's the one who gets it once they, talk everything through and all that, and then it'll go to, seconds, thirds, etc. If for some reason you don't want the knife or whatever the case may be. But I was the first one, and yeah, I did go back and forth for a second beforehand, because again, like I said, he does a preview of what he's going to sell, between this and the Halictus. The Halictus was a little bit more expensive. I think it was like $160 or $170 maybe. But I went back and forth, and I was like, I like them both. I'll just, whichever. So in the moment, I just kind of picked this one because I think it was just easier. I think it was just the first one that came to mind, so I just picked that one. But yeah, I've been really happy with it, honestly. I think, the size, even though it's huge, in my opinion, for me anyways, it is very comfortable. You don't feel that pocket clip at all. My lighting is going crazy. You don't feel that pocket clip at all squeezing down on it. It's very comfortable in hand with the sort of, gentle suggestion of where to put your hand there. There's a little bit of a thumb ramp on the back of the knife, so your thumb slots nicely in there just with the natural curvature of your hand and your fingers as you're holding the knife in a sort of regular grip here. Very comfortable. There is a little bit of a choil up here, so you could also choke up here. I'd say the only thing is there is no jimping on the spine. I'm not exactly sure why they didn't do that. But it's fine. It's okay. I just wish they would have. And it doesn't have to be, aggressive jimping. Just a little something just to put your thumb onto, I think, is always nice, just in case. If your hands are wet or you're, wearing gloves or something like that, sometimes it can be a little more slippery than you might like if there's no jimping. Access to the lock bar is solid. No problems there. Locks up solid. No blade play up, down, left, right, side to side. No detent lash or anything like that. No rock lock. Yeah, excellent knife from Maxace. The zirconium inlay, as far as I know, zirconium is tougher in terms of scratch resistance than titanium or steel, so you really shouldn't have too much marking it up. The only thing is, since this one is a polished zirconium, it is going to be quite a bit of a fingerprint magnet there, if you can see, which isn't inherently a problem. It's not a flaw or anything like that. It's, just something to think about. It is, you're going to get fingerprints on it. So if that's something that kind of really bothers you, carry a microfiber cloth with you, or don't carry the knife, or get one that doesn't have one of the inlays, because the other two inlay styles, the Mokame and the Mokutai, Damascus, Zircutai, whichever it was, will also have fingerprints on it. Not quite as much as this, since this is a solid black surface, but on the plus side of that, this one is going to be the hardest of the other two inlay options, so it will be more scratch resistant. However, as a side of that, the top portion of zirconium is blackened. It's from oxidization. Sorry, I had to pause there a second. As I was saying, the sort of process, as I understand it, zirconium by itself is sort of a silvery metallic metal, but when it oxidizes, it forms this sort of hard outer black layer, which is also going to give it some better scratch resistance. But on the downside of that, it doesn't go all the way through. It's just the top layer here. And while I'm sure this is a pretty thin amount of actual zirconium, if it does scratch, it is going to show quite a bit, pretty prominently, because the undersurface here is going to be a silvery white color. So just something to think about. It's not really going to bother me. And like I said, not a lot of things are going to be super duper tough and able to scratch zirconium. I mean, diamonds and, you know, like rubies, sapphires, anything made of corundum, kind of like that, will be tougher than that and able to scratch it. Other than that, your like everyday items, I can't really think of anything, but I'm also not an expert. I'm not a metallurgist or anything like that, so I can't speak to that exactly, but just something to think about. What else? I'm not really sure that I have anything else to really mention here. It's a solid knife. I think the price is right, even brand new directly from Maxace or another retailer. I forgot to mention, it is a titanium sort of backspacer here. There's also like an anodized little blue end butt piece of what I also assume is titanium. I don't think it does anything. I think it's just there. I mean, I guess maybe if you wanted to, I don't know how it's held in place, but maybe if you really wanted to, you could put, you know, some, why can I not think of the name? Tritium inserts, you know, here and I guess maybe here. I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like you probably could. But I'm not sure that this one is. I think it's just a titanium insert, but if you wanted to. But yeah, anyways, I don't think that I have really too much else here to say. I think that's going to be pretty much it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe because I'll be posting more content here. And let me know down below what you think. Do you have a Maxace Balance? This one is the second iteration. Do you have any of the other previous ones or one of the newer ones here? And just let me know what you guys think about it in general. Maxace in general if you like as well. But that'll be it. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.